On November 5, 2024, the next presidential election will be held in the United States. Can you imagine Donald Trump returning to the presidency? In this video, we will discover what the country would look like with the 45th President of the United States back at the helm. What would his relationship with North Korea and its leader Kim Jong-un be like? What stance will he take on the situation in the Gaza Strip? In short, how will the United States change in the next few years under Trump? Stay for this video and we'll find out together. We'll start by giving a little context to better understand it all. Trump was sworn in as president on January 20, 2017. During the 4 years he was in power, he made many decisions that left no one indifferent, such as the immigration order, what happened in Sharat, and the Jobs and Tax Reduction Act. This reform reduced the corporate tax from 35% to 21%. In his trade policy, he imposed tariffs on different countries, but concentrated mainly on China, where he created and progressively increased taxes on various Chinese products, generating a trade war. Also, his stance on the pandemic, which had a major impact on the U.S. economy, generated an increase in unemployment to levels not seen since the Great Depression. Faced with this dramatic situation, President Donald Trump proposed the CARES Act, a $2.1 trillion economic stimulus package that includes $454 billion in loans to corporations, $349 billion in loans to small businesses, and $301 billion in individual stimulus checks, among other aid. However, his last days as president were not at all pleasant. He rushed through his term with the worst popularity ratings. He was full of rancor and in total disagreement with the results of the polls that gave the victory to Joe Biden as the new president of the United States. Having explained all this, what might the new policies Trump has in mind look like if he were to be re-elected president? To unravel this conundrum, let's explore expert and media analysis. A CNN article raises the possibility that Trump could win in 2024, based on factors such as political polarization and the impact of his past policies. The analysis suggests that while Trump may face challenges, he could also capitalize on the fervent support of his followers, creating an unpredictable electoral scenario. What will El Financiero think of this? El Financiero explores the potential consequences of a second Trump term. This analysis addresses critical issues such as economic policies, international relations, and the global outlook in the event of a Trump election victory in 2024. According to the article, Trump's return to the presidency could have a significant impact on economic stability and geopolitical dynamics. Do you think the forecasts of these two media outlets are right? I'll read you in the comments. His political career has been plagued by legal problems that cast shadows on his possible re-election. Recently, Trump faced the Court of Appeals in Washington in the context of several legal cases related to his term as president. Barron's article highlights the significance of the immunity lawsuit, a crucial issue that addresses the protection Trump is seeking both personally and presidentially, and examines the intricacies of the legal claims surrounding Trump and his quest for immunity. Not everything is so easy for Trump as before the hypothetical future president comes to power. We should know that he has to resolve some legal issues first. How does his legal situation stand right now? This becomes even more complex with the ongoing investigations into his possible involvement in the Capitol assault, as highlighted by Telemundo Washington, D.C. This aspect adds a layer of complications to the issue of presidential immunity, especially in the election interference case. The intersection of these issues contributes to the unique complexity of Trump's legal situation and deepens how the debate surrounding presidential immunity is intertwined with the investigations into the Capitol assault and possible election interference. These elements, combined, shed light on the complexity of Trump's legal situation and its potential impact on his viability as a candidate in this election. But let's think that Donald Trump managed to overcome all these legal challenges and emerged as President of the United States for the second time. The international problems that await him upon taking office are colossal. Remember Trump's very good relationship with North Korea in the previous term? Well, you are going to freak out because this situation seems to have taken a 180-degree turn. Within the framework of a possible second Trump presidency, the relationship with North Korea and its leader, Kim Jong-un, becomes a critically important issue as Trump initially opted for a direct diplomacy approach, staging historic summits with Kim Jong-un to address the denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. What will the prestigious BBC portal make of all this? Let's get to it. The BBC provides a detailed analysis of the diplomacy between Trump and Kim Jong-un, highlighting the successes and challenges in the bilateral relationship during Trump's first term. This context is crucial to understanding how a second Trump presidency could affect the dynamics already established. Meanwhile, Euronews and France 24 have reported on recent missile tests by North Korea, including one capable of reaching the United States. These developments add a layer of urgency and complexity to the situation, as national security and international relations could be affected by the Trump administration's response to these challenges. In this hypothetical second term, Trump would be faced with the need to manage rising tensions with North Korea, balancing regional and global security with continued efforts to move toward denuclearization. Trump's ability to apply lessons learned from his first term and effectively address these international issues could be critical to the success of his presidency and his legacy in the international arena. How do you think Trump would deal with this situation, a good relationship with Korea, or from now on we could be facing a new enemy? Leave in the comments your thoughts on the matter. By the way, I know you like this video. Now that I have your attention, I take the opportunity to tell you. Subscribe, it's just a button. Well, let's now review what DW and Lowy Institute think about it all. While direct diplomacy characterized the first interaction between Donald Trump and Kim Jong-un, DW suggests that the North Korean leader has expressed skepticism about America's true intentions. Kim Jong-un has asserted that Washington is making war inevitable, casting doubt on the possibility of holding a constructive dialogue in a second Trump term. Lowy Institute suggests that a second Trump administration could lead to a comprehensive reassessment of North Korea policy. This approach could be characterized by tougher measures and intensified pressure on the North Korean regime. The prospect of a change in U.S. policy toward North Korea raises crucial questions about how tensions are handled and whether progress will be made toward denuclearization of the Korean peninsula. Kim Jong-un's reaction and the North Korean government's response to a possible second Trump presidency become determining factors for the global geopolitical landscape. How do you think these tensions could evolve under a second Trump presidency? I honestly prefer not to go out on a limb. I've never been much of a prognosticator. Now let's move on to another very interesting but also somewhat contentious issue, the Gaza Strip. At this point, Trump, what position would he take? Considering also the situation in the Gaza Strip and the U.S. involvement under Trump's leadership, a significant influence on the dynamics of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict is evident. During his first term, Trump established a close relationship with then-Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, adopting policies that favored Israel. This pro-Israel approach materialized with the recognition of Jerusalem as the Israeli capital and the endorsement of Israel's sovereignty over the Golan Heights, as highlighted by the New York Times report. NDTV notes that, during this period, Trump held the Biden administration responsible for Hamas attacks, underscoring the differences in the two presidents' perception and approach to the conflict. This critical stance toward the incoming administration reflected the polarization in Israel-related policies. Trump's approach in his first term was characterized by aligning himself with the Israeli perspective and taking a more rigid stance against organizations such as Hezbollah, the New York Times reports. A possible re-election of Trump could mean a return to more pro-Israel policies, which could have significant implications for the dynamics and balance of power in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It is crucial to keep in mind the inherent complexity of the conflict and recognize that several variables, in addition to U.S. policies, influence its evolution. Decisions by the Trump administration during a second term could have repercussions in the region, affecting Israeli-Palestinian relations as well as the geopolitical landscape in the Middle East. We will be watching to see how these events unfold and how they could impact stability in the region. Donald Trump back in the presidency of the United States is a very real possibility, but the consequences of this scenario are still in the midst of uncertainty. Do you dare to anticipate who will win at the polls in 2024? How do you envision the United States under Trump's leadership? Do you think these analyses and predictions are right, or do you have a different opinion? We'd love to hear your perspective. Leave us your comments below, and stay tuned for updates by subscribing to the channel. See you next time.